Welcome back, everyone. We are once again fully operational with some tournament coverage here from the UK 2015 regional season. This is the Gamers Nexus regional at the beginning of June, held in Essex. And this is round 1, game 2. On the left we have Chris Higgins, a previous 2014 regional champion, playing as Sith. And on the right is Jonny Olliff-Lee, playing as Jedi. Game 1 was Chris's Jedi versus Johnny's Scum and Villainy. I think Chris took that game. So let's see if Jonny can split or if Chris takes a clean sweep. Looks like Chris is running 2 of the Jedis and a Killing Cold. So 4 of the Jedi can put cards from his hand back into his deck and draw a few more if he doesn't like what he sees. And Killing Cold allows Chris to start sacrificing units to remove damage from Hoth objectives. So at the moment that's only Killing Cold, but I've got to imagine Executor, ISB is in his deck to take advantage of it. And yet there's the Executor card number 1, but being discarded. And on the light side of the board, Jonny running Mono Jedi, it looks like, with Flight of the Crow for the Mouldy Crow and a bunch of edge shenanigans with those farmers and or colonists even. A Journey Through the Swamp, which has allowed Jonny to go and grab a creature card from his deck, so he's opted for the Knobby Spider. Great call, because it's an annoying as hell unit. It's got 5 health, 2 black guns and a black tactics, so it doesn't even need to win the edge. And may the Force be with you, so classic Yoda. And Chris starting off strong with 2 protectors there, so a good start to build his board. Holds the Force. Jonny with Valley of the Jedi, the resource from the Mouldy Crow, or the Flight of the Crow set, which refreshes when you win the Force struggle, or removes a focus. So it's a great little resource enhancement there. And Kyle Katarn comes in and focuses out the dark side unit committed to the Force. Protectors are blocking. Sorry about the glare. We will. There's not much we can do in retrospect, but yeah, windows are a thing. We need to try and arrange the camera so it's not quite as blatant in future. I like how Jonny's rocking brown sleeves to match his brown cards, those Jedi. That's a lot of brown. But dull they are not. They swing, and they swing hard. They are not dull. Chris deciding to pitch a Rage, which is a smart move. You need the balance of the Force to take advantage of that. And 3 versus 3, because Jonny does have edge 1 from his objective. So Chris will win and put a couple of damage on Kyle. And Chris will then protect the 3 damage coming back off of Kyle. Kyle then refreshes with May the Force. Wins the Force struggle. So hopefully Valley of the Jedi refreshes as well. Remember, come on Jonny. We're rooting for you, buddy. Yeah. So yeah, Rage, discarding Rage. I agree with that in the edge battle there from Chris. There's no way he's going to be able to play it. You need the balance of the Force, and that's not going to happen with May the Force being on the table. But I think that was a choke to deal the last point of damage, get rid of Kyle. Shadow Guard and an Apprentice. So again, another Protector and a 2-cost blocker. There's a Holocron in Chris's hand. I'd be interested to... that should hit the table. There we go. If nothing else, that gives Chris the option to sacrifice and force lightning something. Because he does have that lightning in his hand. Dark Side Apprentice taking a swing at May the Force be with you. Agree with that. Journey Through the Swamp has done its damage now. It's basically a blank objective now that it's got the spider out. And Flight of the Crow. You know, personal choice, but yeah, I'd get rid of May the Force. I'd put the damage there if I was Chris as well. And passes the turn. Wins the struggle. And Jonny draws up to a fresh 6 cards. There's another Kyle. There's probably 4 of him in the deck, so to be expected. Remember, there's a reaction. You can put a focus token, which doesn't look like he has. But Shien Training. Shien Training is going to be a nightmare to deal with. It means you can cancel damage. So if you try and put some damage on Kyle, you just focus Shien Training and send that damage back at the dark side. So you really don't. You don't want to have to deal with that unit, but you have to. It's difficult. It's difficult as the dark side with Shien Training. And there we go. Chris choosing to take an action window to sacrifice the Holocron and Force Lightning for free. So that doesn't do damage. So that's one way of dealing with Shien Training, I guess. The Jedi may be strong right now, but Sith with their removal spells, their removal events, they're not going anywhere for the time being. And Jonny not able to win the Force struggle there, and therefore won't refresh Valley of the Jedi, so that's not going to be available to him next turn. New cards for Chris. I see a Vader, a couple of units, a couple of smaller units, and a couple of edge cards. Now, because Chris discarded or sacrificed the Holocron to get the Force Lightning out, I don't think he has enough resources for Vader, so he's opting for the smaller units, an Ice Tromper and an ISB Liaison. So both of them have sacrifice mechanics if the Executor ever hits the board. And the Tromper can push units out of an engagement and do a little bit of damage. And the ISB actually is a really good card draw if you need it. You can sacrifice him, look at a card on top of somebody's deck, and then draw one. Which, if you're in a tight spot in an edge battle, is never a bad thing. And it also can put an unopposed damage on the Jedi side of the board if there's no units to get in its way. And the Dark Side Apprentice does the same, working away at May the Force. Really don't want to see that put too much work in during the game. Can Jonny draw some answers here? Because that Dark Side board is building up slowly but steadily. And Chris is getting in range to be able to blow some objectives up to speed that dial up. Nudge comes up. Talking about speeding that dial up. There go the brakes. Take that back down to 3, Chris. Come on, what were you thinking? Is that another resource? Yep. Turns the spider into a unit. Oh, Lord. Have you got no more units, Jonny? Say it ain't so. Jonny giving his spider some love there, and I think he's deciding where to send him. Looks like Killy Cold is the target. And pretty much everything Chris has available is going to go block. Which, you know, when you've only got a spider to deal with, that thing has 5 health. Chris's answer is all in. 2 cards to 2 cards. 3 cards for Jonny in the edge battle now. Chris doesn't want to... I can see why he's holding those 2 cards back. One of them's Vader. One of them's Succumb to the Cold, which is a great event that basically says, no, that unit is not refreshing this turn. I'd put Vader in. Yeah, you've not got the resources to be able to play him. So he's a great edge card with 4 pips. Oh, and heat of battle. So that's, again, helping Chris put the 5 damage on the spider that he needs. And a Seeds of Decay from Jonny will focus out that Emperor's Royal Guard. And I've got to imagine Chris won the Force struggle, the edge battle there, with the Vader card adding 4 pips to the fight. Jonny taking a bit more damage in the deflecting some straight back at the dark side. And now we'll get to swing with the spider and lock out some other units. So gets 2 damage and 1 tactics. So the spider strikes and kills the Royal Guard. And focusing probably... Okay, the other guard, so he's not going to be available again. Spider goes home. And Chris starts his turn. So, yeah, that Royal Guard... He's not available this turn. Chris drawing up a couple of events, a couple of fake cards. Palpatine. Still, unless you draw a holocron, he's not hitting the board this turn. No, so no units there for Chris that can hit the table. You can choke that nudge though. Yep. It's got to be done. It's a classic move. Takes that dial up back to where it should be. Damn those nudges, yeah. No deployment phase for Chris, so yeah, he doesn't have the units. He's not playing any other events, so just some unopposed. Clear the objectives off the board. May the Force be with you's gone, so don't have to deal with any obnoxious attacking, winning the Force struggle and defending. Ice Tromper on the Force. And passes the turn to Jonny. So I think the Dow's at 6 here. Johnny's got to draw some units. He didn't see many last turn, so hopefully the summon is pipeline now. I can see a Luke there, so that's a great pull. He's got the resources to be able to hammer the table with units this turn. Another nudge, taking the Dow back down to 5, so giving him a bit more leeway, a bit more breathing room to win this game and a few more turns to draw those cards he needs. A Jubba Bird, again, will give Chris a headache and make the combat maths just that bit more complicated. Now Yoda's Hut. A few more resources and help winning the Force. Always good. Training grounds, and Jonny needs a bigger mat, it looks like. Holy moly. That boy has resources for days. He's been planning for his retirement early. This is what sound financial planning will do for you. And there's 4 resources. That has to be for Luke. Yep, there he is. So all of a sudden, Jonny went from no board and half the game gone to being rich and having a decent number of units on the board. So he's going to have a struggle winning the edge battle here, though, because he has played most of his cards. Luke swinging for the Killing Cold, which is smart. You don't want to leave Killing Cold on the board slightly damaged for too long. It will just kind of heal itself up. If you can take it out, you want to take it out in 1 or 2 big hits, really. And the Ice Tromper saying, no, no. Get out of this engagement, Luke. So it sacrifices the Tromper. Luke gets pushed out of the fight and takes the damage. He will be able to swing again, though. But not at Killing Cold. Desolation of Hoth. So Chris, having not spent any resources last turn, has everything he needs to play that card. 3 cost, remove any number of damage from a Hoth objective you control to an enemy Hoth objective or a unit. So just basically freezing Luke to death. And there we see what we're talking about. Killing Cold, healthy, straight back to brand new, never been used, mint condition. And a dead Luke. So, Spider versus Shadow Guard. Jonny can't win the edge battle because he's got no cards, but he sacrifices the Jubber Bird to stop the guard from hurting the Spider, and the Spider will just kill him straight back. And puts a focus on the Apprentice. And a classic move seen the world over. Commit the nudge. Take the force with 4 icons with Yoda's Hut. Let's just do the maths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 resources available to Jonny as a Jedi player, having not drawn Master's Domain. That's a scary thing. If he can survive this turn, he's going to be able to play 2, 3 big hitting units. And Chris, drawing into his Palpatines, his Vaders, he's not got the resources to play them though, so there is some hope here for Jonny. The Dow's at 6, but that's still plenty of time. As we say, he's going to have the time and the money to spend on whatever he draws. So Chris is going to have to start building his defences back up, or things could go out of control. Sacrifices the ISB to dig for a few more cards. It's not a resource, so you're stuck with the small weenies. Another ISB and an Ice Tromper hit the table again. Chris is really struggling for resources here. He's going to need more than Ice Trompers and ISB, I think. There's going to be a Moldy Crow. There's a Moldy Crow. There's more Luke. There's Yoda in that deck. And they could all come out, actually. But saying that, even if they do all come out, Chris has not got a bad edge hand with all those cards. So, maybe Bogwing. Costing Jonny precisely none of his 10 resources. A Colonist. You know, you'd rather see your big units, but that's a boatload of edge. Another one. So, Jonny preparing for the future here. A lot of support cards, no big hitters. There we go. There's a Yoda, Usic Yoda. Dow takes up to 7, so that's a risky move quite late in the game. Puts Chris one step closer to winning, but you can go get Yoda. And there he is on the bottom of the deck. Is it the version he wanted, though? Looks like we've got the May the Force be with you Yoda and Master's Domain Yoda, and quite rightly so, going for Master's Domain Yoda. 3 tactics is the juice. So Yoda's got all the support he could ever need now. He's going to have... Next turn, he could potentially have Edge 3 when he's attacking, which is not nice to deal with. And Johnny's still got plenty of resources, so he might have some event cards in his hand, some enhancements to put on Yoda. But it looks like a couple of fake cards. Bogwin going for Fall of the Jedi. It looks like the Protector is gonna do his job and stand in the way. He is on 2 health though, so he's Bogwin could finish him off here. Palpatine as an edge card seals the deal there. Oh, is that Bogwing and the spider? Looks like. So, or just the spider. My apologies. So Protector kills the spider and goes home. Yoda going in for strike number 2, and the ISB liaison is. Oh. He's got a big task ahead of him. It's a big ask. Get the administrator to stand in the way of one of the galaxy's premier Jedi Masters. Good luck with that. Bizarrely wins the edge battle, but won't do much with it. Does a point of damage, slaps Yoda in the face, and then Yoda returns the favour. Interesting to see Chris could have sacrificed there before Yoda struck and drawn a card. But Yoda stabs him before he gets his action. So Yoda didn't win the edge battle, so he's not. His tactics are edge enabled. So thankfully, that's not something Chris has to deal with. Yoda commits. You don't have May the Force be with you, Johnny, so that's not going to work. Undo, rewind. There we go. Colonists commit to the Force, though. Yoda's not going to be up for the defense, but you will win the Force, Johnny, with Yoda's hut, and you do have a crap ton of edge now when any of your unique Jedis are attacking. And there's quite a lot of damage on Chris's objectives now. One of the falls is down to 2 health. And as we say, Johnny's sitting pretty on a lot of resources here. So come on, Chris, you need resources. Again, Vader and no way to play him. But there's a Mara Jade. There's a Mara. You can play her. She costs 4. Sweet spot. You can always play a Mara, as long as you've got all your objectives untapped. And there she comes. She costs 4, so that's gonna be Chris's deployment done. But she's a great unit. She can do pretty much everything quite well. She can hold the Force with 3 icons. She's got good icons in combat. When she's committed, she's elite and shielding with targeted strike. So she's good on the defense with shielding and on the offense with targeted strike. Takes just commits. Actually, won't take the Force because of Johnny's units and Yoda's hut, and passes the turn. So, new hand for Johnny, and there's got to be some units in here. We've not seen that many of the power characters. They've got to be in this half of his deck, you'd hope. Either that or he's sleeved the wrong cards and it's just got nudges. and colonists in his deck. 2, 3, 4. That's a Luke. Is this the pain train? There's another 4. Oh, the Mouldy Crow. That can one-shot an objective on its own. And that will actually deal with that strips, protect, and shielding off of Chris's side of the board completely. So just it doesn't have to be involved in engagement, just passive ability. Remove, protect, and shielding. So Mara, not quite as happy as she once was, because that she can't shield an objective or herself, and that protector can't help her either. So that's a great pull for Jonny, Luke, and the Crow. That's a lot of damage that Chris is staring down now. And they have edge, because they're both unique. So ooh. Yoda and Luke are swinging at the top 4 of the Jedi. Ice Tromper. Ice Tromper and Mara seem to be pulling up to defend. Chris is reaching for a shield. You can't. Ooh, hopefully we catch that. That shield. Mara doesn't have that because of the Mouldy Crow, so I'm sure we do catch it later on. So Jonny passes because he's on edge lots. And Chris drops in a card. Jonny responds in kind. It's a pretty important one here. If Chris can win this fight, he can kill Yoda and potentially sacrifice the Ice Tromper to send Luke out of the engagement as well. So Jonny passes on 2. Chris up in the ante. Everybody is all in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for Chris. 9 plus the edge granted from your board, Jonny. Yep, so you'll win. And you've got protection and an echo, so you can uncommit someone and put a shield down as well. Yep. Uncommits Mara, so she loses elite targeted strike and shielding. Not that she has shielding at the moment anyway. But a great play there. 13 to 10, the final edge icon count there. That's pretty high. Well done, chaps. I think you take the award on the day for that. Yoda tacticsing out the defenders there. Puts the damage on Mara. And 1 on the objective, which has been shielded. I'm pretty sure we do catch this. I remember the game live. So Luke will do 2 with targeted strike on Mara, it looks like. Oh, Chris, you can't protect. Remember, you can't protect. The Mouldy Crow. And then 2 to the objective. And then unopposed. Oh, no unopposed, actually. Mara and the Tromper are both still there. Mouldy Crow against Killing Cold. The apprentice at the bottom can stand in the way, and oh, here we go. Yep, Johnny's catching the protect and shielding, so Mara can't be protected, so she's dead. And the objective can't be shielded, so that's dead. Just got to remember a couple of focus tokens on that and a couple of damage. Yeah. Good catch, boys. Good catch. Crow going in on the Killing Cold on his own. He's got edge 3 at the moment from the objective and the colonists. So that'll strike and do 4 to the Killing Cold. And then the apprentice, thankfully, stops the unopposed and keeps it alive. And we'll put a damage on the Crow as well. Looks like Johnny's contemplating some unopposed damage on the Fall of the Jedi as well. Yep, sends the nudge. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, nudge swings for unopposed on Fall of the Jedi. So, a couple more damage. Oh no, Chris choosing to sacrifice the Ice Tromper sends the nudge not only out of the engagement but does a damage and ticks the dial up to 9. Ooh, that could be a good play. Johnny wins that force struggle through Yoda's hut and some colonists. So Chris pulls a new objective out and it's Killing Cold. And he gets a fresh 5 cards. So Luke's already on the defense, thanks to his reaction at the start of Chris's turn. And a couple of Ice Trompers and a Protector are Chris's options here. He's got Force Lightning to try and deal with an exhausted unit. But I've got a feeling Chris is going to have to make it work this turn or it's game over, potentially. So Chris has got to find a way through to tick that dial up. He's only got to do 1 damage to Flight of the Crow. Which is why I think the Ice Tromper on the previous turn to get rid of that nudge and tick the dial up might be the play that wins in the game here, potentially. So plays a Protector and a Tromper. Sends the apprentice in to attack the damaged objective. He's the only one going. Oh, Lord. Looks like Luke is the blocker. Ooh. Couple of edge cards here from Chris. Potentially, he could just sacrifice the Tromper and send Luke out of the engagement, and that would be it, I think. But wins the edge battle and just strikes for a damage and takes the game. So that's a clean sweep for Chris. But Johnny put up a great fight there from a slow start. Really came sprinting back into the game from the halfway mark and put Chris on the back foot there. That was a great game to watch live. And yeah, round 1. Both games go to Chris. So congratulations, Chris, with the full 6 points there. We'll catch more from these players as we move through the tournament, I'm sure. But stay tuned, guys, and thanks for watching.